These are days and nights of red and blood. Heroes will rise as the anchors fall.
Hey, what's up guys, it's Cypher, and today I'm bringing you my Stamina Nightblade PvP build video for the Imperial City update. Now, I'm going to have a few different versions of the Stamina Nightblade. This is the 2H with bow. I'm also going to have a one-hand and shield with a 2H and a dual wield with a 2H. Both those versions will be coming out over the next few weeks. As for other builds like Sorcerer, DK, and even Templar, I'll also be working on those. It takes some time for me to craft these builds. I don't want to release something that I don't have full faith in and I haven't tested thoroughly. So this past week I've been playing the Stamina Nightblade, the 2H and bow version, on stream and off stream, and I've been perfecting it, adjusting to the nerfs with dodge roll and everything, and just made my final decisions on how I want the build to be. It's going to be very, very similar to the old Nightblade 1.6 build. The major difference is your playstyle with this build, and I do have PvP videos of me using this build, and I'll be uploading more so you guys can watch the playstyle, and I'll be releasing some guides because a big part of this update is changing your playstyle with the Stamina Nightblade. First, I thought I had to re-scrap the entire build and, start from scratch, use different abilities, use one-hand shield, maybe even use heavy armor. Now, that doesn't mean those heavy armor builds aren't good, but I wanted to try to keep the rhythm and flow that I was using with the previous build, keep most of the abilities, most of the armor sets, but just try my best to adjust the playstyle accordingly for this update. Now let's get right into it. I want to make this quick so you guys can get to using this build. It's going to be on our 2H bar. We're using Executioner for our execute, surprise attack, ambush, mass hysteria, rally, and soul harvest. Nothing's changed on this front bar. It's pretty self-explanatory. Same thing as the previous build. You got your main DPS coming for surprise attack and ambush. You got your fear, your heal, and your execute, and your ultimate. Back bar. Now this one's a little bit different. We're using relentless focus. This was buffed, so now that after 4 light attacks you get the spectral bow, but I don't really use the spectral bow that often anyways, just because it's not 100% necessary, but it's good to have extra damage or regen. Now you could also put piercing mark here, but the problem with putting piercing mark is you only benefit from the detection radius, that the detection that you have against invisible opponents, because surprise attack applies major fracture and so does piercing mark, and that doesn't stack. Another option that you can put, especially for the Imperial City, is razor caltrops. Now what this will do is not only will it be a detection device, but it's also going to snare your opponents, and snares in this update are ridiculously powerful. Potentially bugged, but they're still ridiculously powerful, and this is going to be really useful inside those tight sewer areas, and against other Nightblades who are going invisible, just trying to slow down your opponents and getting a dot on them. So this is pretty useful, but again, you can put razor caltrops, you can put relentless focus, you can put mark target. This is a pretty open spot that you can fit in with a lot of different things. Poison injection. Of course, this is going to be just your dot damage, and it's going to give you increased execute damage once you get them below 50% health, which is really useful. Shuffle. I got a lot of questions about this one. Why not double take? Well, here's the thing. Double take costs magicka, so if you have another magic ability here, you don't get to cloak as often as you would like to, and I think cloak is much more powerful in this update. It's been fixed, and it doesn't break as easily, so it's much more reliable, and you do need to use your cloak more often instead of dodge rolling, just because of the fact that you can't dodge roll as much as you used to because of the dodge roll nerfs. Now, the reason we're using shuffle here is also because of the snares. Now, you might be asking, where are we going to get our movement speed? Well, the bow passive, hasty retreat, it became a major expedition. That means it doesn't stack with double take, which is kind of a nerf to our speed, but at least you get the major expedition after dodge rolling for 5 seconds. So now you don't really need to use double take for speed. You can dodge roll with your bow to get that 5 seconds of 40% increased movement speed. Now when you use shuffle removes all dots, all snares, and it gives you 3.5 seconds of snare immunity after casting it. So it's very useful for getting away, and it costs stamina, so it doesn't strain your magicka pool, and it's a pretty cool ability. It has a cool visual effect, and I think it's the perfect spot for this build instead of double take. I wasn't having too much success with double take, especially when you're snared and trying to get away through those sewers. You need to be able to have some snare immunity. Resolving Vigor, of course, for your heal. Now Resolving Vigor only requires Assault rank 5, so most of you should be getting it. I mean, even if you start off brand new, it'll only take you like a week or two PvP, maybe even less, to get Resolving Vigor. It's a pretty good heal over time and definitely useful on this bar. Dark Cloak, of course, you know, you're a Nightblade, so gotta use it. Gotta use it when you can. Now, Ice Comet, I've been using this, you know, since forever. I like the damage. I like how you can set up burst with it. I like the snare. Still a very useful ultimate for bursting down your opponent. Now, let's get into the armor sets really quickly. We are using 5 pieces of Shield Breaker. By the way, this is on the PTS, just so I can show you, you know, end game gear instead of the crappy V15 blue sets that I'm using right now. But, you know, V16 Shield Breaker, 5 piece, 2 piece Engine Guardian. Now, you could put Malakina here if you want more damage, but I'm probably going to stick with Engine Guardian for 1vx. And maybe for 1v1s, I might go with Malakina, just, you know, if you want to burst down your opponent with that extra damage. But Engine Guardian is doing the job right now for me, especially for managing my resources. Now, for your jewelry, we have 3 pieces of Agility, V16. You can use 3 pieces Shadow Walker. It's going to give you the same bonus, but Agility, you know, it's a V16 jewelry set, and I don't think there's V16 Shadow Walker jewelry, so this is going to give you better results just stat wise. So if you can get yourself some Agility rings and necklace, you'll be good. Now for your weapons, you can just craft your weapons, preferably a mace for your two-handed. And then for your bow, you can go with the Master's Bow if you have it. If not, just craft yourself a bow. You know, the bow, you can put sharpened on it. Of course, the two-hand you want sharpened. This is infused, but you can get this drop. I mean, you can you know, craft this as a sharpened weapon. Now, of course, you don't want, if you have a Master's 2H, I don't recommend it, just because of the fact that I feel like, you know, armor penetration that you get from mace still will outdo the extra weapon damage you get from the two-hander. I think armor penetration is, you know, very useful and definitely gives you more damage in the long run. And then, of course, for the bow, it doesn't really matter because you don't really do that much damage from your bow. If you have the Master's Bow, that's great. Use your Poison Injection, you're going to boost your weapon damage by 352. I still don't have the Master's Bow, but I'm probably going to be farming for it, doing some VDSA just so I can try to get myself a Master's Bow. That'd be good. Now, you know, Shield Breaker, of course, it gives you a perfect 2, 3, 4 piece. Max stamina, stamina recovery, weapon damage. Like, there's nothing else you can ask for. The 5 piece comes in handy against anyone using a shield. I mean, this is the Sorcerer's Bane. Anyone, you know, using Healing Ward. You know, once you see someone with a shield start light attacking, you'll see their health start dropping. But don't just light attack. Animation cancel. Light attack, surprise attack. You got to just throw in those light attacks in between your main attacks. That way you can boost up your DPS and do some serious damage. Now, let's go into champion points really quickly. We have some points into reducing cost of stamina and magicka. You can put more if you need to. Some into magic recovery, that's really important. And then, of course, dumping a lot of it into stamina recovery. And then, you know, even though you can't dodge roll forever, you still want to put a lot into this because, you know, CC break, dodge rolling, it adds up. And having somewhat of a reduction is really good. Nothing into there. 10 into heavy weapon expert, that's for your mace. 10 into bow expert, that's for your bow. 35 into precise strikes, 1 into piercing, 46 into physical damage. Now I just want to fix something over here. Piercing is a little more useful now in comparison to what it used to be. So it doesn't hurt to put at least a few points into that just to get some extra armor penetration. It does not hurt. It actually benefits you. So over here we have 20 points into reducing crit damage, 10 into medium armor focus. You could also put another like 10 into spell resistance if you had it. Over here, 45 into hardy, reducing magical damage, and then 27 into elemental defender. And if you want some more healing, you have the option to put, you know, at least 5 or 10 points into quick recovery, and then like 5 or 10 points into blessed. That's gonna really, and I do recommend you do that actually. It's gonna really stack up your rally and vigor healing, and give you a bigger, you know, heal. So that's what we have for the champion points. It's, you know, similar to the previous setup. For race, of course, if you watch my best Nightblade race video, that is, you can find that on my channel. I'll also have it in the description. The Stamina Nightblade can work with a variety of different races. My top picks, my top 4 for Stamina Nightblade would be Imperial, Redguard, Wood Elf, Khajiit. That's in no particular order. They all give different, bonuses, and I go into detail inside that build. I go into detail regarding the bonuses inside that video, and I'll have that video linked in the description. Now, of course, we are using recovery drinks, and there is V15 recovery drinks, so get your hands on those. Right now, we're using Tristat V10. That's just for the video, but if you can get your hands on V15 Tristat, go ahead and do that. Our weapon damage buffed is 2600. Oh, actually, it's 3075, and then our stamina recovery is 2.4k, magic recovery 1k. Now, keep in mind, this is end game gear we're using, so you might not have these stats right now. We have 30 points into health because we still want to get close to 20k health. With the damage reduction, it's acceptable to go lower than 20k, bare minimum 18k, but I usually like to have at least 20k health, and then the rest go into my stamina. So again, this is end game gear, so your stats are not going to look like this. My stats definitely do not look like this right now. For jewelry enchants, you're kind of open to do whatever you want with these, depending on if you want more damage, you put weapon damage. If you want more recovery, you put recovery. Reduction cost is actually useful for stamina builds as opposed to magicka builds, in my opinion, just because your dodge roll does go based off of your reduction. So on live right now, I have 1 reduction and 2 weapon damage, but that's gonna change as I put things together. So right now we're using 2 stamina recovery and 1 weapon damage to achieve these stats right here. So again, Wood Elf, Khajiit, Imperial, Redguard, those are my top picks, but you can work this with just about any race. You just got to adjust and see how far you can go with it. So Warrior for the Mundus Stone, but again, if you want more recovery, you can go with the Serpent, because now the Serpent gives you stamina recovery. It's pretty flexible in that criteria. You can go with Warrior if you want more damage. You can go with Serpent if you want more recovery. It depends on how you play. Do you use more recovery? Do you feel like you're lacking damage? Your combos aren't hitting that hard? You adjust accordingly. That's all I can tell you to do. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys have any questions, please comment below. I'll have this posted on my website with just a detailed layout in text if you want to look at that. And that's cypherpk.com for my builds. I'll be releasing more builds very soon. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you for 30,000 subscribers on YouTube. I think we just hit that today. So you guys are awesome. I'll see you guys with another build video coming soon. Possibly the Sorcerers coming up next, and then the DK, both Magicka and Stamina. Take care, guys, and I'll see you guys soon.